If you harbor the notion that Avatar is merely a product of soulless computer graphics, you are profoundly mistaken. Beneath the surface of those breathtaking visuals lies a foundation of borderline-obsessive scientific research and a level of perfectionism that borders on madness. And today, join Syth Film as we dissect whether this perfectionism truly crosses the line into madness. Kate Winslet, despite only collaborating with James Cameron 3 times, has shared insights about his process that are too profound to summarize in a single sitting. The internet often jokes that Cameron is actually a scientist who just happens to make movies on the side. But as Avatar: Fire and Ash prepares to storm the box office, we all expect visual mastery. Yet, the true Cameron magic, the element that cements his status as a legend, lies in the microscopic, revolutionary details that most eyes miss, but the subconscious never forgets. In the first film, you might have noticed a peculiar piece of tech, a device resembling a microphone boom extending in front of the actors' faces. In reality, that was a high-definition micro camera. At the time, motion capture technology in Hollywood had mastered the body, but the human face remained an enigma. The industry was stuck in the uncanny valley, where CGI characters looked dead behind their eyes. Cameron knew that for Pandora to be believable, he couldn't accept digital mannequins. His solution was to engineer a proprietary head rig system. By painting fluorescent reference markers on the actors' faces, the rig, locked to their skull, could track the minutest muscular tremors. Whether the actors sprinted, jumped, or fell, the camera remained in a fixed relative position, locking down the performance. This technology allowed the Na'vi to possess distinct smiles and furrows of the brow. It proved that the digital skin was merely a canvas. The emotional architecture was built entirely by the human actor. Moving to the way of water, the complexity didn't just increase, it grew exponentially. Historically, Hollywood utilized a technique called dry for wet, suspending actors on wires in a smoky studio, using fans for hair movement, and adding CGI bubbles later. But Cameron, a veteran oceanographer, knew this defied the laws of physics. Muscles don't react to water pressure in the air. Hair doesn't flow with hydrodynamic drag. He insisted on shooting wet for wet. But there was a massive technical hurdle. The water surface acts as a giant mirror. Every breath bubble, every ripple created specular reflections from the studio lights, creating visual noise that scrambled the motion capture sensors. The solution from inventor Cameron was ingenious. He covered the water surface with thousands of translucent floating balls. These allowed actors to surface for air and maintained water clarity, but crucially, they acted as a light diffusion barrier, eliminating the chaotic reflections. Then he synchronized 2 camera systems, one above, one below, merging the data to achieve absolute photorealism. Kate Winslet even trained to hold her breath for 7 minutes and 15 seconds, surpassing Tom Cruise's record, all in service of this raw, unfiltered truth. Cameron's meticulousness extends to his refusal to use green screen blindly. He utilized a handheld virtual camera, allowing him to look into a monitor and see the Na'vi characters and the digital environment in real time, rather than actors in spandex. This enabled precise cinematic framing on the fly. But beyond the tech, there is the logic. The Na'vi's swimming technique was re-engineered by diving experts to account for the biomechanics of a species with a heavy tail. The Na'vi language isn't gibberish, it's a fully structured system of xenolinguistics with over 3,000 words. Even the flora and fauna weren't just drawn, they were designed with evolutionary biology in mind. Often, scientist James and director James would debate fiercely to ensure every design functioned within the laws of physics, making the audience suspend their disbelief effortlessly. His background as a truck driver and his varied history means he understands the nuts and bolts. He doesn't just direct, he forces actors to acquire practical survival skills, piloting, diving, living in the wild, grounding the fantasy in grit. For the upcoming installment, Cameron is once again punishing himself. Capturing fire is infinitely harder than water due to the erratic variables of thermal dynamics and light. He is pioneering new tech yet again. To accurately replicate the way lava light interacts with skin, he had actors perform in front of controlled real fire sources. The cameras captured how interactive lighting affected every pore and hair strand under heat waves. Furthermore, he built a set simulating a volcanic substrate, so when an actor steps down, the ground reacts with the correct viscosity and resistance of cooling magma. Narratively, the trailer teases the Ash people, a volatile clan. They have rejected the great Mother Iwa, dwelling within the carcasses of giant beasts. Likely twisted by historical trauma, they represent a darker path. Cameron intends to force the audience to look past the beauty of Pandora and stare directly into its darkness, its pain, and its potential for destruction. Avatar: Fire and Ash promises to be more than a visual feast. It is poised to be a visceral, emotional punch, centered on brutal existential conflict. The haunting line,
"What if every human being on Earth could live here without a mask? Then the Na'vi people will be gone,"
sets a grim, high-stakes premise. James Cameron is famous for his technology, but his true genius is that he never allows the VFX to overshadow the humanity. He respects the fundamental truth: the computer is merely a sophisticated instrument to amplify the transcendent performance of the actor. That unwavering commitment to the human spirit is exactly why he remains a titan of cinema history.